Well, good morning, reversionists, not to be confused with revisionists, American reversionists, those who want to take America back the way that it used to be, should be, ought to be, going to be again if we have anything to do with it, right? First off, I want to welcome everybody who's new here. You've come to a great place with a lot of smart people. We talk about what's wrong with this country and what we think we can do to get these things taken care of. From there comes that reversion. It's returning something to the way that it was or should be. Thank you also, all of you who support the channel, whether it's by subscribing, giving a thumbs up, leaving a comment, all of which helps to promote the channel, or especially those of you who have joined us over on the Patreon channel. By becoming a member over there, you have really helped us. Everything that we bring in through that channel goes to promoting and assisting our efforts, and we all have to do everything we can at this time, right? So I thank you so much for that. If you're not with us, the link is down below. I do put a lot of stuff over there that I don't put on YouTube. Try to make it worth your while, and it kind of a news aggregator. Maybe things that you haven't seen, or articles that you haven't seen, or videos from others that you haven't seen and that I think are important, and I think you would think they are too. We're getting a very lively community over there on the Patreon channel. So we'd love to have you over there if you can swing $1, you know. If you can't, you know, no problem. I get it, but we really appreciate whatever you do to support us. So anyway, starting, we got a few things to talk about today. So Fox News sent Tucker Carlson a cease and desist order over his Tucker on Twitter. We will see how that goes. They're really getting them twisted up over there, aren't they? Good for him. I haven't had a chance to watch Tucker over there on Twitter. I'll get around to it one of these days. I just have too much going on. By the way, which reminds me, I just got done designing a bunch of Stonemont t-shirts and the Stonemont cup. Now, I know a lot of you are also with me on integrated preparedness. I won't talk a lot about that here because I'm going to talk about it over there. But I'm also, now that I've gotten through that, I am going to be designing some t-shirts, some Trump t-shirts, and some other t-shirts, and an American reversion cup that will be available. It'll be available through the stonemont.us website, along with my books and all that. I'll let you know when those are up. It's got to be. I'd like to say it's going to be a couple of weeks, but in a couple of weeks I go on vacation, so if I don't have them done before then, it's going to be a little bit longer. It'll be done sometime at or after the 4th of July. What a date that would be to have those out there, right? We will try our best. So anyway, so that's that. We have several other things that I want. Oh yeah, did you see that Biden put the transgender flag front and center on the White House? Okay. I mean, violation of the flag code, obviously, but when somebody violates the flag code on the White House, what does that tell you? What does it tell you? It's an act, it ought to be an act of treason, right? And what is treason punishable by? But it certainly tells you their priorities. It tells you what they think is most important. And when you take the American flag and put it off to the side, and you put any kind of flag, I don't care what kind of flag, in the middle of it, you're sending a message. And it is a message that has to be taken seriously. They have been throwing this in our face for years, and too many people on our side have been ignoring it, just thinking it was silly, it was stupid. Oh, they'll get over it. It's not worth my time to argue or deal with about. And those people, as I've said, if you're in that camp, I hope that you're learning that these things are important, that every big problem starts as a little problem, and if you don't stop it as a little problem, you have a bigger problem to deal with. That's where we are. That's where we are because we didn't stand up soon enough and loud enough and hard enough and start fighting back against this crap. And so now we have it. Now we have a big problem. And a big problem means big solutions. And that's what we have to do. So that, maybe I'll put the link to that when I put this one up over on the Patreon channel, because I put everything that I shoot on YouTube, I also put on the Patreon channel. I'll link these articles that I'm going to talk about down here. And there's Joe and Jill right out there laughing and smiling and and all this. So that'll be over there. But that has got it. And for those of you who know people, I interrupted myself there, who don't take this seriously, do your best to try to get them to take it seriously. Okay? Send them this video. Share my videos. You can share any video that I put out there. Hopefully you will. And get people involved, and you get involved. The next story that I wanted to hit on here is not yet. Let's see here. I have these lined up a little bit. Okay. Okay. NATO. No. We're going to do something else before we get to that. U.S. is preparing to evacuate Americans in Taiwan as China tensions boil over. Okay. Well, that's sending a message. I'll talk about this more on integrated preparedness, just touching about it here, because there's the main story here is a little bit different. When these things come out in the news, it doesn't mean they just happened. It doesn't mean they're news, right? It just means that they have decided that now they want to tell us about it, and there's always a reason for that, and we need to discern and pay attention to what that reason is. Now they are letting us know that they are preparing to evacuate. These plans have always been in place. There's always a plan to evacuate Americans, right? I mean, under smart leadership there is. Who knows what there is nowadays under this kind of leadership? But I imagine, it has been, because these things are pretty much institutionalized. But they're telling us, right? They're telling us they are preparing to evacuate Americans in Taiwan. Okay, yeah, is that concerning? Because they're going to blow. They're building things up over in Ukraine. They're building things up with China. They're building things up with Russia. They're building things up everywhere, right? They're building things up with Trump. We'll get to that in a second. Why? What are they taking our mind off of? But we can't let them take our eyes off of that, right? And we can't let them make us take our eyes off of those people we need to keep our eyes on, who are supposed to be, and that means our representatives, as they are, who are supposed to be pursuing justice for certain things. It's been a long time since we've heard much about laptops or anything, hadn't it? Too much, yeah. So that's what they want us to think about now. And it is leading up. They'll be able to juggle that ball a little bit. China, Taiwan, blah, 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 get everybody worried. We've got the shutdowns on the left coast of the ports. That's something that I'll be covering over on integrated preparedness. But for those of you who aren't with me on there, just stock up. Stock up. See, we have... What was the next thing I wanted to cover before our big story here? Sorry, my ham hands are hitting the wrong buttons here. Yeah, NATO is launching their biggest ever aerial war games, dubbed Air Defender, with 250 jets and 10,000 troops, and a warning to Putin. Well, keep poking Putin, right? Keep poking him. Things are going to happen. They are going to happen. Now, our main story here, and one I just love. Post-indictment, Donald John Trump, the biggest fighter I've seen since I've been alive in the political world, has widened his lead again. He's now over 60% of Republicans support Trump. How about, I mean, is that amazing or is that not? Maybe it's not. It's probably not. Because he is acting, you remember his famous saying, they're not after me, they're after you, I'm just in the way. That's right, he is after, they are after us. And he is the lightning rod, and he is taking all the lightning. They are giving him everything they possibly can, and still this guy stands up. And he doesn't give up a bit. You know, all of these people, if you want to see what leadership is, this is it. This is it. This would make anybody else out there crumble and cry and crawl away. DeSantis, Scott, whoever, all these, Hutchison, who else is running that thinks they're going to run for the Republic? They don't have a chance, and any one of them would have been squashed. But he keeps on going. Now, a word about these other people. Trump is going to be, I'll tell you right now, he is going to be the Republican nominee. And I think we all know all the things that can happen, right? We know those little things that can happen. But he will win the 2024 election. Now, what the results come out to be, who knows? But he will win it. When the real votes are counted, he will have won. Now, all these other people that are out, and he deserves our support. He is the only one who has tried to turn things around. And he turned a lot of things around. If you don't remember what he turned around, and occasionally we'll get a comment on here from an uninformed person that will say, yeah, what did he do? He's just like everybody else. Oh, yeah, well, do you remember energy independence? Do you remember a good economy? Do you remember that stuff, huh? Do you remember him making the NATO countries pay up? Do you remember the fact that he did not get us into any new wars? Do you remember any of that stuff? Do you remember $1.70 gasoline? Do you remember that? And many, many, many more things that I could list. Everybody who's running, who says that they're running against all these idiots who have thrown, I shouldn't call them idiots. They're probably good people for the most part, okay? Let me just say his competitors, DeSantis, Tim Scott, Asa Hutchison, who else has got, oh man, Chris Christie, he is an idiot, okay? I will put him in the idiot crowd. All these other people who say that they are running, they have shown their lack of character by doing so. What they should be doing right now, when they have the leader, essentially the leader of their party, and of course he's not one of the good old boys, right? And they rely on the good old boys, most of these people. The swamp. These people, if they're not neck deep in the swamp, they're up to their knees, okay, because of where they take their support. They should bow out of the race right now. They should bring their 100% support for Trump right behind him. They should offer to stand on the stage with him at every one of his rallies and say, I support Donald Trump. That's what they should do. That's what strength of character would be. But what they're doing is they're trying to capitalize on what they see as his weakness. They're saying, he's in trouble. I'm going to distance myself from him, and I'm going to try to get in here and get a slice of this. And of course, they always jockey. Everybody always jockeys for position. You know, they'll say, well, if I run against him and maybe when he beats me, he'll give me an ambassadorship or a secretaryship or something. That's the wrong way to do it. That's the wrong way to go about it. I hope that if Trump gets back in next time, I hope he will be smarter with the people that he chose, because as much as I respect most of what he's done, he made some stupid choices as far as his cabinet. And Mike Pence, there's another snake. Mike Pence makes himself out to be this solid Christian man, right? That guy's a snake. But anyway, what these people ought to do, and did I interrupt myself again? I'm sorry. I usually have about 10 thoughts going through my head at once. Yes, Steve, we can tell this. Settle down. But he made some stupid choices, Trump did in his first term. And his cabinet and I didn't like, I mean, even, what was that general's name that everybody loved so much? I don't know. Some of you will know who it is. I never thought much of him. I didn't. I know guys who served with him, liked him and all that. I'm looking at him from a different aspect than that. Okay. Very often, if you serve with somebody or under somebody, you're going to see a certain part of them, and they're going to do things you like. I'm looking at him as an outsider, and I never thought that Mattis. I never had that high of an opinion of him. I don't care what he was like as a war fighter. Okay. I care what he is as far as a person. I think he was one of Trump's many mistakes. As there were so many, I'm not going to get into them. What needs to happen here and what these people need to understand, they need to support him, and then as a result of their support and the loyalty that they show at the beginning, that's how they ought to get assignments, not running against him. And then, okay, you beat me, now can I have a job? That's typical political BS. It works all the time. You know, it's one of those keep your friends close and your enemies closer kind of thing. Well, how about if you become a friend? How about if you become a supporter? How about if you say, you know, what they are doing to you is beyond the pale. It is beyond anything that has ever happened to an American politician to this extent. And we don't believe it. They can go out there on they can act like they're good guys by saying, this is not right. This is unfair what they're doing to Donald Trump. Well, how about you stand up and support him in it? How about you go on the stage with him? How about you show for once a unified, solid front of the Republican Party, of conservatism, of whatever you think that front is, and you go out there and stand up. But they won't, and that is an indictment of their character, because they're hoping to get out of something out of his misfortunes. Keep that in mind. But he is, this guy is a fighter. So we will see what happens over that. There's more stuff happening out there. I'm going to bring this to a close right now because I have to get to other things, read other things, you know, keep track of other things and all that. But this is the time. This is a time. This is maybe the most important time in American political history since, you know, the mid-1800s. And you need to be involved in it. You need to keep yourself apprised and aware of what's going on. And you need to go out there and give your support to those who deserve your support. You need to keep yourself informed, and you need to be vocal about it. I've said that again and again and again. The other side gets what they want because they're vocal, because they yell and scream and march all around and have their signs and make themselves out as victims. And of course, you know, marginal people always fall for that victimization BS. And we got a lot of marginal people in this country. We sure do. And you know, sad to say, we have to win some of those over. We do, if we're going to win these elections, and we're going to take our country back. Yes, take our country back. Take it back 200 damn years. Yeah, and maybe that'll be close enough to begin again. Anyway, you all have a good. Thank you so much again for those of you who are supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Again, you can come over and join us on the Patreon channel over. The link is down below. Just $1 is the entry fee. You can pledge whatever you want. And I know you guys that pledge more than $1. We appreciate that so much. We'll have cups and some T-shirts out here pretty soon so that you can really fly the flag. And thank you again. And please do make sure that you're subscribed here. make sure that you hit that thumbs up, make sure, and leave a comment if you're comfortable with it. You know, even if it's a thumbs up, a comment, you know, yeah, I agree, you know, whatever. It helps. It really does help. And that's one of the many ways that you can, you know, be a part of the solution of this. And if there are other channels that you think do a good job in promoting this stuff, support them too. You know, I'm not just trying to make it all about me. Support them. You have to support those people that are doing the things that you think are right and think are important to get this country back on the right road. So you all have a good day. Remember that America needs a reversion. It needs you to be a part of it. It needs me to be a part of it. It needs all of us to be a part of it. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.